Welcome to the Bull and Bear Show, episode number 14. I'm here with my co-hosts, King Earl, Nash Cowboy. How you guys doing today?
Great.
Doing well,
How
doing
about
well.
you?
Fantastic, fantastic. We'll probably, I believe we'll have Blaze joining us, but we're going to get started right now anyways. We got lots to talk about today. You could probably see that I've got Donald Trump's mugshot on the screen. So that's my first topic. What do you guys think about the fact that Trump has once again been indicted now, I believe 4 times. This time he actually got a mugshot for the first time, and they took his fingerprints. We'll start with you, Earl. What do you think about this?
Well, I don't know when America turned into Canada where you can get arrested for freedom of speech for just saying that there was election fraud, but I guess they consider it hate speech, I guess now. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I mean, it's just a shame that it's come down to this, and this is the only way they can take him out, and hopefully we can just come back and then clear everything up later in the future, and not use it just as a revenge in the future,
100%. 100%.
But I mean, while he was being indicted, the Biden administration was also meeting up with Hunter Biden, with a special counsel for Hunter Biden investigation. So, just saying.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that because it just seems like there's, 2 different sides to this. It's like the Bidens can't do wrong, despite the fact that there's a lot of evidence that they've done a lot of wrong things. And it seems as though Trump can't do anything right. And everywhere he goes, it's like every time he turns another corner, he has another indictment. What do you think about this, Nash Cowboy? Do you think that Donald Trump deserves to be indicted now for the 4th time?
I think about the same as Earl does. It's a big ploy just to try and get him not to be in the election because they're scared. I think it's the most boss-ass mugshot ever taken. I love it. Even Adam Calhoun done came out with a shirt. That's my president with that mugshot. So I just can't wait to see where it goes. Like Trump said when he was interviewed by Tucker, at least now they will get to show all the evidence. And like I said on our last show, they screwed up by indicting him on this because now all that evidence that he had about election fraud is admissible to court.
100%. I agree with you guys 100% on that. And the crazy thing too now is this is literally, if anything, it's helping him, believe it or not, because they're literally saying that this mugshot could turn into the best-selling t-shirt on the planet. They're literally on turning this mugshot into full-blown t-shirts, mugs, name it. It's going to be a big seller. What do you guys think about this? Would you guys buy one of these?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, Adam Calhoun's the number 3 independent artist in the world. He came out with his own version of the shirt, and I plan on ordering one. Absolutely.
When's the NFT for sale? When's the NFT available?
Oh, we need to make one.
That's a great question. I didn't even thought about that. He's got his own NFT collection too, so that's probably going to be a big hit as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty big news. Everyone's talking about this. The ex-president getting a mugshot, getting fingerprinted, despite the fact that there's been cocaine in the White House and nobody has been held accountable for that. As an American, you guys are, both, born and raised Americans. What do you guys feel like right now? Like when you hear this type of story that there's like cocaine in the White House and nobody seems to care, but yet the guy who's trying to become president is taking mugshots and maybe has to go to jail. And like, what does it feel like as an American right now? It's got to feel like some weird corruption, right? Like this doesn't feel like a normal election coming up. Would you agree with that? What do you say?
I would say that, it's not a clear representation of what America is or what America stands for or how the normal American values or household operates, right? So we've come into, a little bit of a conundrum where the White House is no longer representing with the first family the values that America was built on, right?
Yep.
So they're not being very good ambassadors of the U.S. And I mean every nation's going to have a spoiled child, along with every family. Might eventually have a black sheep, but we'll just see how bad the situation gets.
Yeah, it's getting pretty ugly. What do you think about this, Nash Cowboy?
I think it's quite a disgrace to see how the Biden administration can't be touched, and someone that actually fought for Americans gets targeted. And I think it's a disgrace that they would stoop to these levels. But at this point, I believe they're scared and they're trying everything to keep him out of this race. I think the whole world's laughing at us with the bumbling idiot we have in there right now. And hopefully we get change in 2024.
I know we're having the same problem here in Canada. It doesn't seem like anybody likes the leadership here in Canada as well with Trudeau. Nobody
Not even his own wife.
Nobody seems to be happy at all. But yet, he's still our prime minister, and there's really no end in sight. So it's kind of a terrible situation here in Canada as well with our leadership or lack thereof. Now, another topic I want to talk about is, this was the big news this week. Jerome Powell warns that there could be more interest rate hikes if the economy's rising resilience keeps inflation above the 2% target. Let's think about this. This is big news in America, also very big news. And it seems as though Powell is not going to stop raising rates. What do you guys think about this? Oh, wait a second. Blaze has arrived. Blaze, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been sitting there for a couple minutes. Where you been?
Oh, sorry about that, man. I didn't see that. I apologize. Before we get to the next topic, Blaze.
Yep.
What do you think
Right
about the mugshots of Trump? What do you think about those Trump mugshots?
Stirring up the pot a little bit, getting more, recognition. I think it's a stunt. That's all. I mean, it's a good idea by him. Kind of a desperate move, but
you think it'll help him in the long run? You think it's going to hurt him having his?
It's going to help him.
You think it's going to help him?
Yep.
I know we've seen with other celebrities that when they go to jail and come back, they come out even more popular. We've seen that with Martha Stewart. So could this possibly work to his advantage?
I think so, 100%. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, our next.
Well, once you do a little time in prison, you learn how to cover up your crimes a little better from other people in there.
Well, there's a lot of people that got his back, and when they see that, it pisses them off, and they're going to even fight even harder for him.
Yeah, I think that's a very big possibility.
Yeah,
I think that's very, very possible. Now, Powell has just come out and said that they're going to continue to raise rates until inflation to that 2% number. And at the rate that they're raising rates, like, we're getting to the point where people are getting really, really squeezed. They're saying that household debt and credit card debt is at all-time highs. So what do you guys think about this? Saying that the economy is still resilient and they're going to keep raising rates until they get to 2% inflation. Do you think that they will continue to raise rates? What do you think?
I do believe that he will, but we do have to look at, the markets here in the next couple of months. So, I mean, he might still hold off, right? Because we only have one more scheduled for this year, right? And then we'll have to look and see what he actually does and how the market actually reacts within the next month or so. Because, I mean, we're coming up, which we'll talk about a little later, is up right now, but there's a big black swan event that might potentially be looming over the edge. So, we'll have to see. But I believe that he's doing exactly what Biden put him there to do, which was do nothing but let the banks down soft on the recession, try to cover up the recession that Biden put us in, and just jack up interest rates and to get us back down to the 2%. And he don't care how high has to do it as long as the banks don't lose their liquidity and Biden isn't exposed. And he don't look like Fauci in the end.
Okay. Nash Cowboy, what do you think? You think we're going to go to higher rates? I mean, we're at 5.5%. We've gone up an entire 5% in a year. People are struggling. Housing has doubled. Gas prices have essentially doubled. Food prices have doubled. Taxes are going up. Everything is going up. People are getting squeezed and people are not making more. So Nash Cowboy, what do you think? We're going for higher rates?
I think so. Absolutely. I went to actually take out a loan today, just a small personal loan, a couple $1,000s. And I was like, and I had amazing credit. And my banker is like, I can't get you less than 10%. I'm like, what?
Wow, 10% interest rate on a loan?
Yeah. And I was like, but I have
goodness.
great credit. He's like, that's minimum. He's like, housing loans are 10% right now. I'm like, he's like, if somebody takes out a $300,000 loan for a house, that's a $3,000 a month payment just in interest. I'm like,
Wow.
that's crazy. Like, it would be stupid for anybody to buy a house right now. So I'm honestly expecting a very bad economic collapse because it just can't keep going. The housing market's going to crash, in my opinion. And I honestly think that's what the Biden administration is trying to do.
Yeah, it seems like the same things are happening here in Canada. Everything is going up. There's no end in sight. We continue to have politicians saying that they're going to make it more affordable, but they're not. And they're constantly raising rates. So people are getting squeezed. Something's got to give here sooner rather than later. Blaze, what do you think? Is Powell going to raise rates?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to happen again, and it's just going to make more people bum rush all the stores and big crowds and rob everything. It's just going to make everything a mess. We're going to have a big mess.
Yeah,
I just don't see anything getting any better anytime soon. They're going to keep squeezing us until they get what they need, man.
Okay, well, Powell also said this, which kind of made me think maybe he won't raise rates. He said, higher rates may be needed. We will move carefully. That's the first time that I actually heard him say, we will move carefully. When I heard that, it made me think that maybe there's a chance that he won't raise rates. Maybe if the market continues to be struggling, which it seems like everyone is starting to struggle, maybe they just won't raise rates. Maybe they'll just pause, or maybe they'll decide to kind of wait a little bit and see how the market responds. What do you think about that when he says we will move carefully? Can you guys kind of read between the lines? Like, what do you think he means by that, Earl?
I think that these banks are having to pay back their bonds that they had to do. So there's going to be more liquidity coming into the U.S. government and less out on the street. So as the market continues to pump, it's going to flood back into the banks, right, where they can actually make their payments. So that's actually going to help the situation that's going on. However, I mean, the banks are going to be without their liquidity until they pass new regulations that they have to have a one-to-one asset, kind of like they just did in Canada. And until something like that's done, they're going to be worried about liquidity in banks versus the over liquidity that they have provided outside of the country, right? And then you never know with Operation Sandman whether some of that liquidity might be coming back to us in other currencies. So I think we've been teetering right close to it. The market going up and down, as we already saw, it had finally went up just a little bit on the inflation numbers in June or July, and then that was on the yearly scope. But we had continually started going down, which was in a good trend. But we were looking at harvest season coming up, and depends on how much the federal government is going to. And I think they're doing major on everything but farming. So we shall see. But I think that's what he's waiting to find out is what the harvest season is going to look like before the Christmas and holiday seasons.
Okay. Nash Cowboy, you think if you had to read between the lines, do you think there's a chance that maybe they're not going to raise rates because he's saying they're going to move carefully? You know, up until now, he hasn't been careful. He's just been raising rates. It seems like he's changed his tune a little bit here. Do you think that careful means that he might not raise rates? Or do you think he's just trying to calm people down? What do you think?
I think he's just trying to calm people down. That's my personal opinion. They are trying, everybody's starting to be aware of what's going on, and they're trying to make it not so obvious, is what I think. That's my own opinion, but I'm still on the side that I think they're trying to collapse the economy. So,
well, they're doing a good job of collapsing the economy. You know, they're saying that there's tons of people that are homeless now, people living in their cars, people can't afford to pay rent. And like we've talked about, housing has gone up, food prices have gone up, gas prices have gone up. Everything is going up, but people are not making more. And we're being taxed in North America at the highest rate of anyone else on the planet. So something's got to give. When you're getting squeezed from every angle, something has to give. Sorry, go ahead.
When a lot of big companies like Walmart announce that there's going to be massive layoffs, there's a problem. Big problem.
What do you think? What do you think, Blaze? What do you think's going to happen here?
I think him saying move carefully is to squeeze another one in and then slow down a little bit. That's his careful mode. Test the waters, see what we do. He's going to do it again. Yeah.
Okay.
Carefully is doing it one more time to see our reaction.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. I mean, I'm trying to be
optimistic. He's just easing our pain a little bit by acting a little bit like he's got some kind of remorse.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of agree with you. It's like a part of me wishes that they're not going to keep raising rates because, like you said, you know, Cowboy, you go to the bank, it's 10% interest on a loan now. So everything is going up. Your credit card bills are going up, lines of credit, car loans, mortgage prices, everything's going up. Every time they raise rates, that means all of your bills just got higher. So something's got to give. And speaking on that, now they're going after our crypto. So guys, take a look at this. U.S. Treasury Department proposes new reporting requirements for digital asset brokers and attempt to crypto adoption. So they're doing everything they can now to tax us on our crypto. So everything has gone up. We're being taxed like crazy. Now they want to tax our crypto too. What do you think about this, King Earl?
I think I welcome it, actually. You know, we need more regulation within the crypto, you know, and then for it to actually be adopted, it needs to be regulated. But, you know, for it to be regulated, you have to recognize that it is not a freaking security, so you can't keep suing them. So how are you going to tax me on something that's unregistered as a tax, as a security? You have to accept that it is a security and let them register so you can quit suing them as unregistered securities. You have to pass the regulations to get it done.
So you think this is a good thing?
I think it's a good thing. We've all seen it. I mean, it's been coming out for the past 2 years. They just passed a proposal for it. You have until October 30th to discuss it or leave a comments on their board for them to consider, you know, and then we'll go from there. But I mean, it's gonna put more eyes on it. And if the federal government starts accepting the fact that we use it as a revenue source, kind of like they do the cannabis industry here in the U.S., you know, they don't see it as legal, but they still want to tax it, and they still want them tax dollars, but only the state gets it. But, you know, it's going to make other people wealthy. But, you know, for them to actually accept the money, they have to do it through registered means, and they have to accept the fact that it is a digital currency, not just digital assets.
Okay. Nash Cowboy, what do you think about this?
I'm up in the air on it. I mean, I see Earl's side of the thing, but at the other point, I think the government's just trying to dip their hands in more pockets because they've given away so much freaking money. They need to figure out how to pay it back. And the only way they can get money to pay it back is by dipping into the American citizens' hands. grabbing our pockets and shaking them some more. You know what I'm saying?
Taxes.
I say,
Tax the people.
I say,
Go ahead, boys.
boo. I say, look, non-governance, we're going to stay that way. Government ain't getting nothing unless we cash out into their native dollar, like the United States dollar, the Canadian dollar. Then you can take your taxes if you want, but you ain't going to start taxing me on every transaction I do in my crypto. I do not agree. I don't like it. The reason why I'm in crypto, because I can care less the way the government runs with our money, because they take our money and throw it overseas to people that don't even need it, that are actually doing rehearsals of bombings and stuff like that, and they're picking up little foam rocks and stuff, and it's proof that we're just throwing money away. So are they going to keep throwing our money away without my permission? Because I didn't give them permission to do that. So that's why I'm in a non-governance type of financial thing. You know what I mean? I want the government to run my money after I pay taxes.
Yeah. Why? And where do you draw the line once they start taxing? Do you get to claim all your losses too? I mean,
No, the people couldn't claim their losses, but they're taking out profits. No way. They
so
ain't gonna do it right.
of course, I mean, they're going to tax your gains, but they're not going to look at your losses. I guarantee that. And like Blaze said about, giving money to other countries and stuff, they've already found weapons that we've shipped to Ukraine in the cartel's hands. So they're just selling it anyway. And they're trying to figure out how to smuggle the money back in to pay for it.
Right. They just want more from us so they can keep on loaning it out or just dumping it off.
Money laundering.
I'm getting tired of them.
There's a
altogether. I'm tired of them.
Yeah.
They don't work hard. Like, they don't do what we do, right? So they should stay out of what we do. They already tax us on our paycheck. You get no more. I want to take my money after taxes and do what I want with it.
They work hard. They work hard to make sure that they tax us.
Yeah.
They work hard to make sure they can tax us and get as much money off of us as they can, so they can take that money and squander it.
Boom,
that's
right
essentially what our governments do, right?
Yep, you're right. They work hard on robbing us.
Yeah, and then squander it.
8 hours a day, 7 hours of the day they use to keep on taking from us.
Yep.
The government never...
Like, who are they to give us permission to do crypto? We can cash it out to any money we want to. We don't have to cash it out to the U.S. or the Canadian dollar. Who are they?
The American government never gained the power to tax us in the first place.
I'll cash it out to Portuguese money, then turn Portuguese money into American money. It's simple.
Now, let's talk about this next topic here. So, crypto for a $3 trillion Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP price bombshell. So essentially, they're saying that there is a black swan event that could really boost. A surprise black swan event has primed crypto for a $3 trillion Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP price bombshell. That black swan event was when Ripple beat the SEC. So this is obviously not new news, but it's an article that just came out saying that the SEC loss to Ripple could be the black swan event that could take Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP to really high levels. Some predicting as high as 150,000 for Bitcoin. Some predicting Bitcoin is going to go as high as 400,000. What do you guys think? Now, obviously, the SEC is is appealing the decision, which is taking Ripple back down. But do you think that Ripple beating the SEC is going to be a huge boom for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple? We'll start with you, Earl.
Okay, so I don't think that somebody is sitting around with $3 trillion just waiting for XRP to win a lawsuit, right? If they'd wanted to invest it, they would have invested it a minute ago. Is there going to be multi-transactions? Yes. Do I think it's going to be just because they won the lawsuit? No. I don't think it's going to be just because they won a lawsuit. But Ethereum, yeah, it's going to pump mainly due to other tokens and stable coins utilizing their blockchain data and their blockchain to process transactions such as PayPal USD. So they're putting them on the Ethereum network, right? And then it's going to utilize the Ethereum network to do the transactions. It's not going to be because of winning a lawsuit that makes someone invest. It's going to be because people believe in the project. And, 3 trillion, they're only subtracting from the 4 billion or 4 trillion that was in the market last year with barely 1 trillion in it now. So we're just looking at the bear and the bull difference. So I don't think it's all going to Ethereum and XRP.
Okay. Nash Cowboy, what do you think?
I think that winning the lawsuit will affect it. As shown in the first one, before the appeal, it almost doubled in price.
Yep.
So I do think it will affect it to some matter, but I'm not thinking. I'm still standing on my guns. This month's going to be bad. Next month's going to be bad, just based off of I think we can all agree we're in an accumulation year. And every single accumulation year in September was bad. August was bad. So I think the pattern is going to stick, and then after that, maybe we can see a rise. But I don't think that the lawsuit, the effects of it, will do that much.
Okay. Blaze, what do you think?
Winning a lawsuit like that, right, is giving confidence to everybody. So of course it's going to eventually make people spend a lot more money, and people are waiting for March of next year for the halving to happen. Plus the lawsuit dwindling away, showing XRP confidence boost, more investments is a potion for success. Bitcoin over 300K token by the end of next year, if it happens.
What I said about September and August too, let it be noted that every single October in an accumulation year, they call it Rocktober, because it always exploded every October in every single accumulation year.
Problem is, you want to go get $20,000 out of a bank, you got to wait a couple of days sometimes. If you want to take $20,000 of Bitcoin, it goes through right away,
Yeah, but I mean, you got to look at September, though. September, we haven't had a green September for Bitcoin since 2016, and it was the only one out of 10 years that we've had a green September. The only one
Got to stop being
in 2016. So
we going lower, folks. In other words,
just saying,
we going lower.
you got a 90% chance according to the tracking. So
speaking on that goes to our next topic.
We just got to get through this year.
Check this out. Bitcoin's bleak outlook. U.S. inflation data predicts a sub 20,000 price in 2023. So my question to you guys is this. Do you think Bitcoin goes back under 20K in the next few months? Some are saying it will. I personally don't think it will, but some are saying it's going under 20K. What do you guys think? What do you think, Earl?
I think that I'm not a financial advisor, so don't listen to me. But my opinion is that, I don't believe it's going to go below 22,000, much less 24,000. We're looking at, a potential drop back down to the $24,000 to $25,000 range on trading. If we do drop down below, we're looking at September is generally between 9 to, on the accumulation phase, 9 to 13% down. So we're not looking at massive losses anymore because we've already dropped down some, right? And we'll probably pump up a little bit here by the end of the month. So, with us actually going back down, I don't view us going back down to 20. I mean, we're way above we're barely below the 200-week moving average now. I don't think we're going to move too much farther away from it. We've spent over 40% of the time during this bear season below the 200-week moving average as a new trend for the first time ever for Bitcoin. But I don't believe we're going to dunk way back below it like we did during COVID, unless COVID happens again. So we'll have to see from that. But people are using Bitcoin as a catalyst for when the market actually crashes for stock markets. And I mean, there's going to be a bunch of FUD people trying to get you to get your money out so they can invest their money. So just be on the eye for it and know when you see a good opportunity, because you invest your money, I'll invest mine, but I guarantee you I'm going to make some profit.
Okay. And I know you'll make profit on the short side too. So I know Earl does short sometimes, so he can make money on the downside too. We're just looking at the price of Bitcoin. It's now at 26,000. So my question to you, Nash Cowboy, do you think it's possible that we go below 20,000 on Bitcoin with it at 26,000 right now?
I think we could hit about 22, but that's my personal opinion.
Okay.
And I do think that we're going to have, I think about the second week of September, we're going to have some COVID mandates come back out. And I think it's going to affect it some. But that, like Earl said, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't take my advice on that. But if I've been thinking about getting into shorting, and I'll be shorting Bitcoin for September.
Okay. All right. Blake, do we see Bitcoin under 20,000?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
No. Halving's coming next year. If it drops back down to 22K, it's going to go right back up to 29K. So I'm not even worried about it. People are not going, and if COVID comes again, people actually spend money on crypto. So, in my opinion, never. No, not this year. Maybe last year at this time, I would say, yeah, hell yeah, And I'm, it's strictly off my opinion, So if you guys want to listen to me, it's up to you. But like I said, my strong opinion, hell no. Bitcoin is not going to go below 20K. No.
Yeah, they spent the COVID stimulus money on investments, though. Let's hope they don't overinflate us again doing that. Otherwise, we're in for a world of damage.
Yeah, but that COVID stimulus money was only 1.something trillion or something. That did not all go into crypto. It was worldwide.
Well, it was $19.7 trillion they overprinted within 8 months.
Last year, yeah, I would say, yeah, possibility. But we're getting so close to the big day for 2024 that it'd be ridiculous for people to sell off that much Bitcoin to let it drop and let the whales buy back up and make it unaffordable.
If we get another COVID, I'm going all in on crypto.
Well, on the percentages, after the September bloodbath, we're always looking on accumulation phase between 20 to 34% pumps for the next 2 to 3 months. So, just get ready. Whatever it loses, it's going to gain back.
So what was September before 2020? September before 2020, everything was low. Mm-hmm. And then boom, October rolled around. Things started jumping. We turned into 2021, the first halving, right? Yep. Bam, lit. Everything went up humongous. We're back on that path. Me and Rich checked it out a while ago. I think we're right back on that path where everybody needs to make the decision between now and the end of the year. Like,
October.
What are we going to do?
I think everything in September is going to be on sale, and you better mark my words on that.
Yep. Have to wait till September the 20th to see what the White House scheduled announcement is that's already on the books for September 20th.
Right.
Now, what about this, guys? XRP has given up all of its gains that it made when it won its landmark case versus the SEC. Now, the SEC is appealing the decision, and XRP has given back all of its gains. So as an investor who's wanting to buy XRP, is this the time to buy XRP right now? Because if the appeal comes back negative, you would have to assume the XRP is just going to shoot right back up again. Now, if the appeal comes back in the favor of the SEC, we'd have to assume the XRP was going to go even lower. What do you guys think? We'll start with you, Earl. Does XRP go back up or does it go lower from here?
I believe we're going to have a bunch of pumping and dumping or buying and selling for accumulation. I mean, it's always a good point to buy in before the altcoin season and the bull season market. But I mean, as far as the SEC's lawsuit and their appeal, I mean, that's going to be dragged out. It's going to drag it back down through the mud. We're going to be looking back down, you know, if after the bull season, we're going to dump back down potentially to the 33 to 36 cent range, depending on the pump and the percentages of the pump. But I mean, that was the current floor for it anyway. And we have to wait for the lawsuit to clear up. I mean, are we looking at another 2, 3, 4 years? I mean, it's going to be after the bull season. I can guarantee you that. So, you know, we're going to have to be checking to see what goes on, but they've already been dropping lawyers. So we have to see how long it's going to take, and it's not a speedy process. So I do see us dropping back down below, 50 cents by the end of the next bear season. But, it also depends on how much of a pump we have and a catalyst, and that's not financial advice. It's just numbers to play around with.
Yeah, and I must remind anyone who's watching that RICH TV Live is strictly for information and education purposes. None of us are licensed advisors. So please do your due diligence and do your research before you invest in anything we talk about or discuss on the show. I am a holder of Bitcoin, full disclosure. I'm not telling you to buy Bitcoin. Many of us here hold Bitcoin. So we're not trying to tell you to buy or hold Bitcoin, Ripple, Ethereum, any of these assets. But we do own some of these assets. So just want to be obvious and clear and very transparent with that. Now, Nash Cowboy, what do you think? Do you think now is the time to get into Ripple? I missed the last run. I'm kind of wanting to get some now. Is this the time that I should buy, or you think it's going to go lower? What do you think?
I absolutely think now is the time, but I also think it's going to dip. But anything can happen in crypto, so it's better to dollar cost your way into it. So now is definitely a good time, but like I said, September, I'm sticking with my guns. We're going to go down in September, and we're almost there now. Bitcoin's, going down. So now and September, definitely great times to get in, but get in as it's going down. You don't want to buy it when it's in a green and going up. So then you've lost that mark,
100%.
Always buy it.
Absolutely a good idea in my eyes. I'm looking into it. I'm not worried about the SEC with them because they can't beat them.
Okay.
They can't. They proved it. So they can talk about appealing all they want. What, appeal do what? Lose again? I'm not worried about it. Now that the United States of America can play with Ripple again, seeing it's supposed to be a free country and do whatever we can do, they lock us out of stuff. Now that we can mess around, we're going to build that sucker right up here in America.
Okay.
So, yeah, I like the project 100%.
Well, I know I want to get some Ripple. I only have a very small amount, and I'm looking at these prices and I'm salivating, thinking what could
Well, because
come.
of them, I had to get rid of all my Ripple that I had a lot of, and I took a huge loss because of that. And, what about people like me that they pay me back for all the mess they put me through,
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to be paying anybody
No,
back.
of course they're not. So I'm going to go round 2 with them. Let's go.
So, yeah, so I also, Ripple was one of my first coins that I truly fell in love with, but I just got tired of watching them do nothing. I sold my Ripple and I put it into Bitcoin. And so far, it's been a reasonable investment. It's done reasonable. Obviously, if Bitcoin shoots, it'll do much better. If Ripple shoots, then, it'll hurt because I'm not in it really. I've only got a small amount. So I'm looking very closely, and I am looking to position myself in Ripple. Now, Ripple did come out with some big news this week. A partnership with South Korea looking to boost XRPL adoption. I know this is something that Earl wanted to talk about. So, Earl, what do you think about this partnership with Ripple and South Korea?
I think it's the next step. I mean, you can look at all the announcements from 6 years ago as far as the ledger technology, and this is going to be the implementation of it. I mean, they're working with 8 different countries to potentially do CBDCs, and now we're looking at South Korea as far as a partnership for the Catalyst company or organization, and they're looking at teaching people how to actually digitally turn their stuff into digital assets. So that's one of the great things as far as XRP's ledger, is that you can put land as a digital asset, which is what they actually running tests on with a South Korean project. So it's a step in the right direction. It's going to show the capabilities and part of the fullest capabilities of XRP as far as just making other things rather than just currencies digital assets, such as some of the other chain organizations have done as far as just tracking and doing inventory and keeping an inventory on what you actually own. So that's what I like about the ledger technologies. You're turning them into digital and you can keep track of them, but you're also allowed in cross-border transactions. So, if you want to sell, land in Mexico, maybe you can digitalize it and sell it through XRP's ledger. So I like it, and I like the fact that the organization is there teaching people how to properly do it, and I think that's going to be a huge catalyst for the company, that people in South Korea and other Asian countries will be actually learning how to digitalize assets, which is the next step. So I view it's going to be huge, not only for the project, but for the entire crypto industry.
Okay. And what do you think, Nash Cowboy?
I think I'm with Earl on that one. I think it could be a huge boost, not only for South Korea, but also for us in boosting XRP. And I'm with Earl on them teaching. One thing I've noticed is here in America, they don't teach anyone about money. I think they should put it in schools now.
I agree.
I mean, when I was a kid, they taught us how to write checks and that was it. But they didn't teach us how money actually works. All right. And that's been a huge downfall in kids, is because they grow up and don't understand how money works. They don't understand that our currency is a debt. They don't understand any of that. They don't know how to leverage anything. They don't know how to make money work to make more money. They just know in schools that, you go to school, get a 9-to-5, and do the best you can in life. So I honestly think our schools should start teaching things like crypto and just different ways of doing that. XRP.
But I look at it like this, Nash. If the schools are not teaching it, isn't that our opportunity as entrepreneurs, though?
This is true. This is true.
I mean, I look at it like that. As an entrepreneur, I went to Portugal and I was like, nobody here knows anything about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
All I thought about was, if I could help a million people a million Portuguese people or people in general learn about Bitcoin in Portugal, I could turn that into a business. That could be my business. Because people have no clue what Bitcoin is. They have no clue how to get a wallet. They have no clue how to protect their Bitcoin. They have no clue how to secure their Bitcoin. They have no clue how to store their Bitcoin. Like, there's a lot of education that needs to get into place. So if there isn't that type of education in school, is that not our opportunity as entrepreneurs to take advantage of that and to fill that need? That's what I see as an opportunity.
I like what you both are saying. In my opinion about Korea, with this program is just the start of every other country going to be doing this.
That's right, because people don't know how to use a ledger. They don't know how to buy Bitcoin.
America, Canada, Russia, China, we all have entrepreneurs that teach. But North Korea, Japan, Egypt, all them other countries are going to start following suit, plus the ones down in South America. I think it's going to start a trend. I kind of like it.
Yeah, and like when I went to Europe and I was talking to people about Bitcoin, I swear, almost everybody I talked to had not even heard of Bitcoin. They don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, wow, you guys don't know what Bitcoin is here in this country? And like, Portugal is one of the countries that's more advanced when it comes to Bitcoin. They don't even have any Bitcoin taxes. So they're a country that's very progressive.
Ooh, I like that.
When it comes to Bitcoin. But I think that's more tourists. I don't think it's a lot of the locals. A lot of locals have no clue what Bitcoin is. So my wheels were turning, and I was like, man, I'd love to just start doing conferences, events, create a Bitcoin store, and teach people about Bitcoin in this country. I think there would be a huge opportunity to do it. And the more I think about it, and the more I talk about it, the more I'm selling myself on that opportunity. And you're starting to see it now in South Korea and other countries looking to do the same thing. So I think there's a huge opportunity for all of us in the future to do that. Maybe, the Bull and Bear Show can be a part of that one day. Let's take a look at this here. So,
well, I just want to say I do view it's going to be great, especially as XRP dips its toes into the derivatives market.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
pay attention to that.
So let's talk about this. Is Ripple's new partnership the boost that XRP needs? Is this partnership with South Korea enough to give XRP the boost it needs to get back to all-time highs? What do you think, Earl?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't view that it is. I mean, it's great news. Don't get me wrong. Any news is great news as long as it's not with a lawsuit or them going bankrupt like FTX or doing some scammy crap. But, we're looking at a partnership. It's going to solidify the project and unify people and add more people to the team. And it's going to give them better adoption across multiple countries. But, the only way that the token's going to go up is if people are investing in it. And a partnership doesn't exactly mean dollars. It just means that they're willing to work together, right, to create a common goal. So it could help in the future, but it's not going to help immediately because I haven't seen nothing about them actually investing money. So on this news alone, no. Other partnerships in the future, potentially.
Now, just so everyone knows, Ripple has 200 partnerships. So there are 200 companies, countries, businesses that have partnered with Ripple already. So Ripple already has many, many partnerships all over the world. I just wanted to throw that in there. Nash Cowboy, do you think that this is enough to boost Ripple? Is this the partnership that takes Ripple back to all-time highs?
No, but I do think in the next bull market, they will surpass their all-time high by a lot.
Okay. And their all-time high is $3.30.
Yeah, I'm guessing above $20. But
wow.
So if it gets above $20, with those partnerships are a lot of banks, banking systems, all that kind of stuff. I think Ripple is the catalyst in between everything going digital.
Okay. What do you think, Blaze?
I agree. Like I said, it's a trendy thing. Okay, so no, there's 200 other partners, but they're not all countries. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a country backing up the token. A country now, not a business. A country could make or break this token in the near future. I think 110% it is going to affect it on the positive note, but not skyrocket it like we're thinking, like Nash just said. Eventually, we got to wait for other things to happen. But is it going to start an upward trend for them because of this partnership? Absolutely.
Okay.
I agree. I really think so. Yeah, because it's a full country. I mean, come on. Korea is great, right? I like
All right, so we're just going to change.
Because the more people you teach, the more viral it gets. The more viral things get, the more that things get sold.
I agree. So this week was a really, really crazy week with news. One of the weird things that happened is there was a Russian warlord that actually was trying to run a coup on Putin and turn against the Russian army. And he was on his way to Russia and they stopped him. His name is Prigozhin and he is part of the Wagner group, the Wagner's boss. And many predicted after he decided to turn on Putin that was the end of him, that either he was going to have to go into exile or he would be murdered or that he would have to disappear. Well, surprise, surprise, his plane crashed and they're saying that he's dead. Now, my question to you guys is this. First of all, Do you think he's actually dead? And secondly, do you think that Putin had anything to do with it? We'll start with you, King Earl. Oh, did we lose King Earl?
Oh, I believe so.
Okay, wait a second. He popped back up. Here he is. Earl, are you back?
Yep.
Did you hear my question?
Yes, I did.
What do you think? You think that Putin had anything to do with Prigozhin's death?
I think that it's hard to tell. It's another country. We're looking at a propaganda machine that is huge. If somebody wants to disappear, they always go to Russia. Look at the WikiLeaks guy. We're looking at he could continue to use him for other projects, or he could have just offed him because it was him and the number 2 guy for Wagner. And it's going to be hard until something surfaces. So I don't really want to speak on the conspiracy of it, but I do believe if it actually happened, then yes, Putin definitely took him out. But in the grand aspect of things, it could be so many different things that could be happening. With an analytical mind, it could be many, 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 many things. Especially, I don't want to say it, but there's been things happening with Belarus and the U.S. getting urged to pull anybody and everybody out of Belarus. The guy was supposed to ran to Belarus, and this is 3 days before the plane goes down. Just saying.
And the Belarusian government and president already told Prigozhin to be careful and warned them that this was going to happen. So I don't think anyone should be too surprised. The other weird thing was, as soon as this happened, Putin came out and put a statement out talking about it and how saddened he was, which did not look very sincere to me. Because if I'm Putin and I'm the world's biggest gangster and some guy turns on me, I'm probably going to find a way to get rid of him. I'm just saying. I mean, this is Putin, right? What do you think there, Cowboy?
I've learned to not believe anything that I hear in any kind of media.
Yep.
So I don't know if the guy even really turned on him at this point, Is that just what our media is telling us? If he did, I'm sure Putin was after his head. Did he get shot down in a plane? I doubt it. If that really happened and the guy was warned about it, he knows Putin's after him. Do you really think that he would put himself that vulnerable, or do you think he'd be on another little plane somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, he could have easily, just pretended to be on the flight and, did this to try to say he's dead so that Putin leaves him alone and he can go off, live happily ever after. I mean, that's obviously an option.
But at this point, I don't even know, if he turned on him, if they're still friends, whatever. I don't believe anything I hear in the American media anymore. So that's where I'm at.
Well, what I think is that the guy made a horrible mistake, and he did get taken out by Putin, but not by death. But by way of get your butt in a plane and hide somewhere, and you're dead now. That was the deal, That's what I believe.